Hello everyone, I am Ashley Woodley. I'm a senior in animal science, and I'm giving a presentation on the effects of the governmental controls on the Mustang population. Mustangs came to the Americas in the 1600s by the Spaniards. They roamed the untamed land and helped America become what it is today. Now, however, they are a part of a huge ethical and political dilemma. Many Mustangs today still roam the West, but they are no longer free, just wild. Mustangs now have to share their homeland with other wild animals, ranchers, and growing public populations. Not only do Mustangs have that to worry about, but they also have the government trying to save money by decreasing their population. The U.S. government is in control of these animals. They are currently trying to find the best way to decrease the population of the Mustangs by a series of methods: adoption programs, roundups, and different types of contraceptives. When it comes to managing the Mustangs, it is important to consider the effects of the different management systems on the horse's behavior, genetic variation, and the costs that it has on the U.S. government. Since 1971, the U.S. Department of the Interior, or more specifically, the Bureau of Land and Management, or BLM, has been in control of the management of the Mustangs that roam the western rangeland. The turning point for Mustangs was when the Wild Free-Roaming Horse and Burros Act came into effect in 1971. This legislation was mainly the result of the work of Wild Horse Annie, or Velma B. Johnston. Velma saw how the Mustangs were being treated in the 1950s. They were being gathered in ruthless ways and slaughtered by ranchers, hunters, and people that called themselves the Mustangers. In 1978, a Public Rangeland Improvement Act now allowed the government to round up these horses with helicopters to better manage the horses in the rangeland they lived on. According to the BLM, there's an estimate of 40,605 wild horses and burros running free in the government-managed lands. This exceeds the population amount that the BLM has set for the Appropriate Management Level, or AML, which is about 26,677 horses and burros. These wild horses and burros once ran on approximately 53.8 million acres, but today the BLM manages them on 31.6 million acres, or 179 subsets known as herd areas. The major problem for the U.S. government is how to manage these horses without slaughtering them and decreasing their genetic variation that has made them the Mustangs that are a part of the American heritage. This table shows the number of horses and burros in each state and describes what the Bureau of Land and Management has set for the maximum AML for that area. Just like the rest of the government, the BLM is also on a budget. The BLM was given approximately $71.8 million for the fiscal year 2013 to manage the wild horses and burros. Unfortunately, this money is supposed to be enough for the holding facilities, gathers and removals, and adoptions. Each of these programs costs a large amount, and the BLM is seeking other methods of managing the numbers of Mustangs and burros in the rangeland in the western United States. The BLM has been doing roundups or gathering wild horses and burros since 1978 to take inventory of the animals, manage and improve the rangeland, and control the population of the Mustangs. There is no known predator for the Mustangs, which enables the Mustangs to have the ability of doubling their herd sizes every 4 years. This being said, the government rounded up 8,255 animals in the 2012 fiscal year. Approximately 5,000 of those animals remained in holding facilities. As of January 2014, the BLM inventoried 49,591 Mustangs were being cared for in short-term and long-term corrals or pastures. These holding facilities cost the BLM approximately $46.2 million. To help reduce the number of horses in holding facilities, the Bureau of Land and Management holds adoptions throughout the year. This is where people can adopt a Mustang or burro at the minimum cost of $150 and take care of it for a year in the appropriate facilities. The government can have people come and check up throughout the year to make sure that the Mustang is being taken care of properly. This is because the owner doesn't gain ownership of the Mustang or burro until a year has passed and the government deems the owner worthy of ownership. This program is a great way to help the Mustangs and get the public involved, but unfortunately it is costly for the U.S. government. In 2013, the BLM adopted out 2,671 animals, but it cost them $4.8 million to process the adoptions and monitor those owners. The BLM wants to keep this program, but they're having problems justifying it since it costs so much. Researchers have agreed, as well as the U.S. public, that the management techniques used by the BLM is neither supplying the animals with good welfare or helping them maintain a positive financial situation. Independent and government research has been working on a vaccination contraceptive control to give to mares. They are checking on the efficiency of the vaccine, if it is financially beneficial, and what the effects of making the mares unfertile does to the herd behavior. The vaccination that is currently being used is PZP, or porcine zona pellucida. This vaccine stimulates the production of zona pellucida antibodies in the female animal. The antibodies that the female produces provides a barrier that will prevent sperm from binding to the surface of the ovum, thus limiting pregnancy. This has been found to reduce the pregnancy in horses. Findings by Ransom and others say that 0 to 19% of a group of treated horses will produce a foal. Fortunately, Ransom and others did note that this fertility vaccine does not affect the ovarian function of a female that has been treated treated up to 3 years. Horses that have been vaccinated longer than 3 years have been found to have a lower ovarian function. This vaccine is most commonly given to mares by a dart gun. With that same research that Ransom and others was doing, they found that the injection site had a minimal reactions. These injections also need a booster shot to continue into 2 years of infertility. 3-time release pellets fed at 1, 2, and 12 months can be fed to the females as a booster in the second year. However, people are concerned that the PZP injections may disrupt the social and behavioral structure of the Mustang family groups. Studies have been done by Ransom and others to see how these behaviors of the vaccinated Mustangs have been affected by the PZP vaccine. These normal behaviors have been grouped into two different groups: maintenance behaviors, which are grooming, standing attentive, comfort, feeding, locomotion, resting, and elimination, and social behaviors, which include harm tending, harm socializing, agonism, submission, reproduction, and herding. Ransom and others found that horses that have been vaccinated with the PZP vaccine have no change in resting and feeding hours compared to the mares that were not treated. Therefore, the maintenance behaviors stayed relatively normal. However, stallion interaction and herding did not remain normal. Females that were vaccinated were herded by the stallion more and also had increased reproductive behavior, since they came into estrus throughout the year. This behavior was found 54.5% more in vaccinated females than untreated females. 34.2% of these times were either unsuccessful, which would have been just mounting of the stallion, and successful copulation. This figure shows the distribution of the mare's time spent during the day between body conditions with mares treated with PZP to mares that were not treated. Horses are currently taken off or put back on the ridge depending on the population size, as well as the age, sex, and adaptability of the horse. This can make it hard to maintain good genetic variation within the feral Mustang herds. It has been found that removal and contraceptive treatment methods have had an effect on the population dynamics. A study done by Gross on the genetic variations has been done on the genetic variations depending on infertility controls and removals. He found that infertility treatments reduce population size better than removals and increase the retention of genetic variation within those herds better than removals. Therefore, Gross supported the use of infertility treatments because they are cheaper means of controlling the Mustang population while still maintaining the genetic variations. Gross also recommends that intensive management is needed in controlling the population of the feral horses and controlling the genetic variation. When using the contraceptives, we must also be aware of the sex ratio within the Mustang population. Recommendations have been to use the contraceptives to slow the rate of reproduction, but also use removals to maintain a good sex and age ratio within the population. Many alleles in the Mustang genes have already been lost. We must be conscious of these alleles so that they can be maintained to the best of our ability. Mustangs are a part of the American heritage, and many believe that they should have the same respect that bald eagles get in today's society. Since the public is worried that the government is destroying the American Mustang by slaughter and unethical care in facilities, it is important that research be done on other contraceptive methods in order to control the population of the Mustangs. In the same sense, it is important that the Mustang's genetics and behavioral conditions play a role in that research, so that the right management system can be found. This management system will help control the population, as well as maintain their genetic variation and normal behaviors, while also decreasing the cost of the Mustangs on the U.S. government. And here is a slide of my references for anybody that wants to look up further information. Thank you.